The ICU was silent, except for the faint beeping of monitors and the low hum of ventilators. Nurse Claire Thompson moved through the ward with careful precision, each step measured, each glance sharp. She had been undercover for weeks, collecting evidence against a corrupt officer who had been abusing his authority and manipulating cases for personal gain. Tonight, something inside her snapped. The moment had come. She confronted him in the sterile glow of fluorescent lights, catching him mid-act. Shock and fury flashed across his face as he realized she knew everything. By the end of that night, she had done what many thought impossible. She had floored a man who had believed himself untouchable. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're rewatching from. I love knowing who is listening. Claire's hands trembled slightly as she secured the evidence she had painstakingly gathered. Her mind raced. The officer, now disoriented, tried to regain composure, but it was too late. Every unethical act he had committed lay exposed, captured in the notes she had meticulously documented. The hospital's antiseptic air seemed heavier now, almost suffocating, as if the walls themselves knew the gravity of the situation. Nurses passing by whispered in hushed tones, their curiosity mingling with admiration for the bravery displayed before them. Claire felt a momentary pang of fear. This man was powerful outside these walls, but she also felt a surge of resolve, was ready to take the fight further. Her phone buzzed. An email had arrived. Claire's stomach clenched as she opened it. The message was brief, encrypted, and ominous. The case goes deeper than you know. Follow the thread or risk everything. She read it twice, her pulse quickening. It was confirmation. The corruption she had uncovered was only the tip of an iceberg, and the stakes had just been raised. Every choice from this point forward could tip the scales in unpredictable ways. The hospital, once a place of healing, now felt like the nerve center of a much larger battle. Outside the ICU, Claire's mind replayed the confrontation. She could still hear the officer's gasp, the clatter of the evidence as it hit the floor, and the stunned silence that followed. She had to be cautious. Every movement, every conversation could be monitored. Yet she could not walk away, not now. The people he had wronged, the justice she had promised herself, demanded action. Each microsecond stretched, the tension tangible, as though the air itself held its breath. By dawn, Claire had compiled everything she could. Photographs, audio recordings, timestamps, and personal notes formed a web of undeniable proof. Her colleagues, sensing the shift, kept their distance, but offered quiet nods of support. Even in a place ruled by protocol and routine, human intuition had its moments of clarity. She realized that courage was not the absence of fear, but the determination to act despite it. The corrupt officer had underestimated her. That miscalculation would prove catastrophic for him. The next morning brought a courtroom atmosphere Claire had not yet experienced firsthand. Papers rustled, footsteps echoed, murmurs filled the room like an invisible current. The officer was present, smug at first, confident that the night's exposure would be dismissed as an isolated incident. But Claire's email, forwarded to the district attorney, had set in motion a sequence that none of them anticipated. The prosecutor's eyes flicked to her as she entered, a silent acknowledgement of the weight she carried. She felt the same resolve she had felt in the ICU, the calm before the storm. As proceedings began, the officer's confidence began to crumble. Claire watched, noting every shift in his demeanor. The emails, evidence, and witness statements came together like a tide of inevitability. Each revelation peeled back layers of deception, leaving him exposed. The courtroom reacted subtly, gasps, murmurs, shifting seats until the air was electric with anticipation. When the email was read aloud, detailing additional cover-ups and connections to higher-ranking officials, the officer's face drained of color. The weight of accountability had arrived. Claire's heart pounded, but she remained composed. She understood that justice, once set in motion, could not be rushed. Every eye in the room seemed to focus on the interplay of truth and deceit, morality and self-interest. The officer's allies in uniform squirmed, the tension palpable. Some whispered, others stared blankly, unable to process the implications. It was a microcosm of society's larger struggle or confrontation between integrity and corruption, each dependent on the courage of one individual willing to expose the truth. By afternoon, the courtroom had reached its climax. Coordinated legal maneuvers, undeniable evidence. And Claire's meticulous preparation culminated in a decision that left no room for denial. The officer was held accountable. The higher-level corruption hinted at by the mysterious email was flagged for investigation. Justice had not arrived quietly, nor had it been simple. It had been earned through vigilance, courage, and an unflinching commitment to truth. After the proceedings, Claire stepped outside, sunlight washing over her like a cleansing tide. The city carried on, unaware of the personal battles waged within its institutions. But for her, the day represented more than victory. It symbolized a moment where ethics, determination, and courage intersected with opportunity. People would talk, stories would spread, and systems would shift even, if slightly, toward accountability. She knew her role was ongoing, that vigilance was a lifelong task, yet she allowed herself a fleeting sense of triumph. Because courage doesn't vanish, it waits, and it finds its way back. As Claire walked down the courthouse steps, she thought of the ICU, the quiet beep of monitors, the whisper of fellow nurses, the confined spaces where justice had first taken root. The email, the evidence, the confrontation, they were threads in a larger tapestry. A reminder that one person, acting with integrity, could ignite change. And sometimes that change arrived wrapped in unexpected forms, just waiting for someone willing to see it. If this story resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to Cinematic Whispers for more gripping true-life stories. Remember, courage and truth are often found where least expected, but they always leave a mark.